Hi guys, I started a new series called Merlini Miniplays. It's kind of like Merlini Plays, except it's a shorter, condensed version, so I can highlight some specific aspects of a hero. The hero that I wanted to talk about today is Bane, otherwise known as Bane Elemental from Dota 1. He has really good stats. He has really fast move speed, decent armor, highest stats in the game, I believe, at level 1, great HP, and great base damage. But what does all of this actually mean? He has great stats. So what? It means that you're actually really strong when it comes to man fighting heroes. Think about Ogre a couple of patches ago. He could just like own offlaners and he'd have massive regen to back it up. Bane is similar to that. He has a little bit of regen from brain sap so that you can get your HP back up, as well as just having all around good stats so he can go toe to toe with any hero in the early game. And you need to utilize the strength of this hero in order for him to be a good pick. And one way to do that is to control the offlaner. He's like really good at controlling offlaners in a one-on-one situation. So first thing I do is I buy my items quickly. I make sure that he knows that I'm here to make his life miserable, and I'm always wanting to be in this area. Like if you look at the radiant vision, like this area is almost always all dark for them, so I always want to make him fear that I'm just right here ready to harass him with a few right clicks until he runs out of regen and just make his life absolutely terrible. And at the first rune I don't even go for the bounty, just because I want to make sure that I see where Darkseer places his one observer ward, and so I can make my presence felt in this dark area of the map where he really does not want me to be. So again, my motto for supports is control the lane if you can, and then you can go do other stuff. You can go pull, you can go stack, you can go check runes, you can go smoke gank mid, but regardless, I think you should almost always control the lane if you can. And with a strong support hero like Bane, you almost always can. So use that to your advantage. And at level 1, I stand over here to make sure that he's not doing anything funny, and I want to see what he skills. I see that he skills Ion Shell, and that means I don't have to worry about him running away with Surge, and just make sure that he doesn't get level 2. I want him to be level 1 as long as possible to make our game super easy, so he doesn't get a mech, so he can't, like, you know, take our stacks and all this nonsense. It's just much easier if he stays at level 1. So I'm sufficiently convinced that he's going to stay around in this area, so I eventually go for a pull, but this guy ends up placing a ward right here, and I just want to make sure that he isn't able to do anything in this lane. He's level 1 with 0 experience. Some people prefer Enfeeble at level 1. I generally prefer Brain Sap. It always depends on the matchup, but Enfeeble is like really good if you're versus like Gyrocopter, like Flat Cannon hits everything. So if you're doing minus 30 damage on everything, that's amazing. But heroes with a lot of magic damage at level 1, such as Darkseer or like Huskguard even, or Gyrocopter, like these heroes, you might want to pick up Brain Sap because it's far more utility than the Enfeeble. And Brain Sap also does almost as much damage as Laguna Blade level 1 at level 4 Brain Sap because of the pure damage. So 300 pure damage is not to be underestimated. So as a support, you generally want to keep the offlaner about the same level as you, and I spend like almost all of my time trying to make sure that this guy isn't really able to do that much. I miss a D ward actually, which is a little sad, but I still keep trying to zone him out, zone him out, zone him out, zone him out. Control the lane, then go ahead and pull. So this is me trying to zone him out for like the first, 3 or 4 minutes, and just making sure that he can't really cross past this line without feeling really scared. And at some point, either your like carry is going to mess up, or you may be single pulled or something like that, and the creep wave is going to push in your tower. And this is why I like the Dire safe lane a lot more, because you can always reset with this pool over here. And at this point, he's like in a pretty tough spot. Like he knows he's not going to get experience from the creep wave because I can creep pull, and he doesn't want to come over here because he might die. So he chooses to contest the pull, and we make him pay for it. We eventually go for a kill on him, and after this is all said and done, I'm level 3 right now, and Darkseer is level 2.5. So that's pretty much the first 4 minutes of the game, a really, really important time for a support, and I use almost all my resources just to make sure that this guy does not have an easy game. And if the offlaner gets out of control, it's usually the support's fault, not the carries. But sometimes it can be the carry's fault. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is Fiend's Grip range. Fiend's Grip actually has deceptively long range, and I wanted to highlight an example of that in this particular fight. So we have a Reservoir Ward behind the tower, and we know that Darkseer is sitting here alone. There's no Winter Wyvern behind him. There's no Enigma behind him ready to black hole us, so we know that he's alone. And this guy's actually pretty smart. Notice he like stands behind this tree so that we don't have vision of him, so he can't get like a rocket if he had skilled it. Like I can't lead off with a sleep because I can't actually see him, so his positioning is actually pretty decent. I'm not quite level 6 yet. I'm almost level 6, so I really want to get grip for this fight just in case I need it. And I get level 6 off this wave, and we decide to go ahead and start off with a gank, but unfortunately the cooldown doesn't slow him because he's surged, and I go for a grip. But the grip looks like super long range because of the cast animation, so it's almost like double of what the range is actually, and it's almost off screen actually if you look inside the game. So this is pretty useful for getting like super long range. Granted, this is like a surge Darkseer, but at the same time, the longer distance you are away from your opponent, the harder it is for them to cancel the grip. So I start casting it right about a second ago, and I almost get like a double range grip. So try to use this to your advantage and use it on heroes that are running away so that you can get super long range grips. This guy even comments on how ridiculous range that was. And another thing I want to talk about is when you're actually trying to use your Fiend's Grip, like I got it off for like maybe a second there, but it guaranteed us the kill. And a lot of times people are looking for like perfect ultimates, especially with RP and Black Hole. They're waiting for the 4 or 5 man setup when they think it'll win them the fight. And yeah, it'll probably win you the fight, but it might lose you the fight if you wait too long. So some people are like way too picky about their target selection, and it requires like sometimes no hesitation. You just like do it on 1 or 2 heroes, and then you can win the fight just like that, especially when your opponents aren't expecting it. And somewhat similar story for grip, in that I'm not looking for like a perfect 5-second duration Fiend's Grip from the tree line on a hero that's BKB'd. Like it's great and all, but that's, you know, once in like 100 situation, and most of the time you're just going to use it, channel it for a few seconds before it gets interrupted, and you put like the supports in a bad position because you have to like come up and stop the grip, or you know, sometimes that 2 seconds is just enough for them to burst down a hero without them popping their BKB. The situations go on and on, but in this particular game they have a ton of heroes that can actually cancel my grip. Pretty much every single hero aside from Huskar, which is going to be a problem for me. And we're trying to push high ground at this point, but they have Huskar as like the gatekeeper in between the T3 and us, and we have to get by him to get to damage T3. This T3 is at 100% HP, and he has a lot of magic resistance with Berserker's Blood, a lot of physical damage mitigation with 25 armor, as well as Cold Embrace, and it's really difficult to get past him and start slow sieging the tower. So what we need to actually do is just start off the fight. So he's actually tracked up at this point. I'm not sure why the vision doesn't show. I see Lena up top. She uses the Wind Ranger, and I decide that it's a good time to go in. All we need to do is really just take a fight because we're much stronger than them. We have like 2.5 times their kills at this point. We have a lot more items than them. We just need to kill them, and then we take the tower. If we start sieging like this, we're just wasting our time because we're never gonna want to kill them when they're expecting it. So instead, I try and go for a grip when there's no creep wave because they're probably not expecting it when the creep wave's like, you know, 10 seconds out. So I go for a grip, and I'm looking for ways for them to stop me. Lena can't stop me because she's top. I'm waiting for like a Winter Wyvern over here to cancel me with Winter's Curse. I'm waiting for a Winter's Wyvern over here to Cold Embrace this guy. I'm waiting for a Darkseer to vacuum. Not really sure where those guys are, but I'm also waiting for a black hole, and as this fight goes on, I'm like wondering where they are, and then eventually we actually clump up in a pretty good position for a black hole. And I know this Enigma has blink, so as the fight progresses, I know that he's going to come in for a black hole, and this is a perfect setup for him. And he blinks right here, he black holes, and then we probably get wrecked because Huskar's really low. He does a ton of damage, and he can kill us because we're all disabled, as well as sitting in Midnight Pulse. So I'm waiting for the black hole. Like Leshrac moves up a little bit, and this guy actually blinks in, and then I cancel my grip, blink out, and then go for a sleep on this guy. And then eventually we kill Enigma, we kill Huskar, as well as the Winter Wyvern, and then we end up just winning the game after this push. But anyways, going for this actual play over here, you have to be able to see it coming, know what the opponents are going to do. Oh, he sees 4 was clumped. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to blink dodge it and then stop his hole, and then this guy's pretty much out of an ultimate, and as well as our Huskar like being really low, all of us are free to damage him, and we can eventually win the fight. And I think Bane actually has a pretty high skill cap. One of the other skills that he has that I think is high skill cap is Nightmare. Any source of damage except Nightmare will awaken the unit, blah, blah, blah. The third paragraph is the one that you want to read. In the first second of Nightmare, the unit is invulnerable, which is pretty cool. There's not that many skills that make people invulnerable, very few actually. And you can mess up often and like sleep right when like Leshrac's about to hit a Split Earth or something like that, and he dodges the stun inadvertently, or you can use it to save very large instances of damage. Like maybe you can dodge a Laguna with Nightmare, or you can dodge a life break from Huskar, which is much easier because he's actually like flying towards you. You can dodge that 35% damage from life break. You can also use it to dodge small instances of damage so that people don't die. And I just wanted to show one really quickly. This one's just taken from my stream, so I don't have to switch replays. Me and this Wind Ranger, we want to kill mid, and this Bounty Hunter, of course. So Bounty Hunter starts on the Rubik. He sees us coming, and there's a very nice shackle from the Wind Ranger to set it all up. And Bounty Hunter goes for a kill, but he gets telekinesis, and I cast sleep on him so that he can dodge that last attack from the tower and then end up surviving. So I think it's pretty cool how he has a lot of skills that can be used for very different things. So be creative with your Nightmare uses. And anyways, that's it for this Merlini mini plays. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm going to change the format for videos to once a week guaranteed, with of course some other stuff now and then for tournaments and whatever else pops up in the Dota scene. And of course patch notes when eventually they will hit. So thank you guys. Peace out. Have a good one.